Hello and welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast. I'm your host Luke Melby, and I'm joined by.
Braden Walter.
Ben Kincaid.
And Braden Becker.
So we've got a pretty interesting episode planned up for you. We're gonna give our recommendations for the week, obviously. Then we're gonna talk about the Black Widow and James Bond: No Time to Die trailer, and then we're just gonna jump into the Irishman.
Those are two separate trailers, by the way. Black
Yes.
Widow and then
Yeah.
No Time
Yeah.
to Die.
In case you were wondering, Black Widow and James Bond are not in the same universe.
As cool as that would be.
That would actually
That
be
would
pretty
be
so
cool,
sick.
actually. Yeah.
I wonder who would win in that fight. I
James
feel like
Bond.
James Bond would kind of whoop
James
her
Bond.
The lunch
with
lady.
his machine gun headlights.
Yeah, like James Bond has gadgets.
Yeah. Her gadgets are taser sticks that she uses in one movie.
And her thighs.
And her
I thought you said, and she
Christ.
dies. I was like, oh, well, you know, that too.
So yeah, do we want to get into recommendations for the week?
Let's do it.
Alright, so
Our set
my
deck is falling apart.
recommendation for this week is gonna be a TV show on Hulu, and it's called Workaholics.
Oh, that show
and,
is so
yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's essentially like The Office.
It's also on Amazon Prime Video, by the way,
Oh, okay.
if you don't have Hulu.
It's essentially like The Office, but it's just a bunch of like 20-year-olds who do a bunch of drugs, and it's really entertaining.
It's so funny.
It's very
I watched
funny.
a couple episodes of that. It's
I
pretty
would
good.
definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
I'll go then. All right. My recommendation is Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That show's solid.
It's on Netflix. And it's basically like, it's Marvel's like S.H.I.E.L.D. agency, in the universe with like Agent Coulson and like Nick Fury and like stuff like that.
Well,
and
Nick Fury isn't in it too much, is he?
I don't think
I think he's only in a couple episodes.
yeah,
I
he's
remember
only
he
in a
was in the
couple.
season 1 finale,
Yeah.
and I think the first
It
episode.
mainly follows Coulson.
Yeah, Agent Coulson's like the main
Mhm.
character. I think I stopped in like season 4.
Yeah, and it's like all like the stuff with Hydra
Yeah.
and like all that jazz.
Ghost Rider's in it.
Ghost Rider's in it. Yeah,
It's,
but
it's really
I
good.
really like that show.
I need to
'cause
finish it.
It's like superhero stuff, obviously, but like it's on like the other like view
Yeah.
of like the normal people looking at the superheroes
Mhm.
and like trying to manage them and all that stuff like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, it's really good.
I wish there were more Avenger cameos in it though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I know like Lady Sif was in a couple episodes in the first season.
I didn't even know who that
I-
was.
She's
I
like
figured she was
Thor's-
someone from Asgard. But
Yeah,
like, the
someone
first two
from
Thor
Asgard.
movies are so forgettable that
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
She's in the first one mainly, the first Thor
Yeah.
movie. But yeah, so that's my recommendation. Marvel
Nice.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
All right, my recommendation for this week is going to be Batman Hush. It's a Batman animated movie. It's on DC Universe. I watched it in the car when we were driving back from Thanksgiving on the DC Universe free trial, and it's really good. Like, a lot of people kind of look down on the animated movies and, like, think that they're, whatever, less good. But a lot of the Batman animated movies, like Under the Red Hood as well, are really freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the DC animated movies are like better than a lot of
lot
the
of the
live
live
action
The live
ones,
action
yeah.
ones, yeah.
Because they have a lot more freedom to just have, they can literally do whatever they want.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
it's so
Yeah.
nice to just be able to have a standalone
Mhm.
story.
And the animation style in them is nice. It's like not too cartoony,
Yeah.
where it's like somewhat realistic, but it's not like off-puttingly realistic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Did you see the Flashpoint Paradox?
I haven't seen that one yet.
That one's really good.
Is that on DC Universe?
I don't know if it's on DC
I'll check right
Universe,
now. Because
but
my free trial ends today, I think.
because the first Flash comic that I read like cover to cover was Flashpoint,
Mm.
and that movie was based off of it, and it's really good. Like that's arguably the best
I'll
Flash comic of all time.
It is.
It is. Oh,
It is
you
on DC
you gotta
Universe.
watch it. Speaking of which, I need to get DC Universe, cause oh my gosh, that's like
Yeah,
my
there's
dream.
a lot on there. I mean, I didn't even like. I knew what I was there for. Like, I got the free trial so I could watch the Titans finale. Titans is solid, by the way. I think I've
Like
recommended
wait,
it
the
before.
good animated Titans?
No, the live action Titans.
Oh, the live action Titans.
The like R-rated Titans where Robin kills people
Oh shit.
and he
okay.
says, "Fuck Batman."
I like the original like animated one,
I don't think
where they're
I've ever
actually
seen
like
that.
teenagers instead
Like
of just
Teen
like
Titans, not Teen Titans Go.
yeah,
'Cause
Teen Titans, not
Go
Teen
is
Titans Go.
like an insult
That
to
yeah,
the
that one
characters.
sucks.
Teen
The
Titans
one
Go is
before
pretty
that
good.
is really really good.
You can fight me. The
think
Teen
maybe I
Titans
will.
Go movie was also actually really
I heard the movie.
funny.
I heard the movie wasn't bad.
The movie was
but
quite a bit
I
better
don't
than
know.
the TV
The
show.
TV show makes me cringe. I'm
Wa-
just kinda
watch
like,
the movie.
Because it's just more of like
Isn't
silly
Deathstroke
stuff.
in the movie?
I think
I'm
so.
pretty sure he was.
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
because there was like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
joke in it,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Are you Deadpool?" or something like that.
Mhm.
I think, right?
Yeah. The ending joke of that movie is probably one of the funniest jokes I've heard in any kids movie ever. Like,
Really?
I can't believe that they actually made that joke. Just watch it. Just watch it.
I wonder if that's on DC Universe. I'll check right now.
You gotta
My
watch
free
it.
trial only lasts for so long.
So funny.
When did DC Universe come out? Has it been out for a long time?
I am
I think,
not
like,
sure.
Summer.
The original Teen Titans show is on here. The one
Oh,
Ben you were
nice.
talking about.
Yeah, the animation in that one's really really good.
Yeah,
I liked
there's
that
a
lot.
ton of stuff on here, and they're gonna have even more. Did you guys hear they're making a? It's from the guy that started like Arrow and Flash and stuff. He's getting a Green Lantern show on HBO, and they have like a huge budget for it. Yeah,
If they can make Green Lantern good, that'll be really
I hope
really
they
really
can make
cool.
Green Lantern good.
Ryan Reynolds.
I don't even think he wants to talk about that movie. Like
He
he's
doesn't.
just kind of like that didn't happen. Let's just
He's
forget about
moved
that,
on.
like everybody
Except
else.
for the one joke that he makes
In-
in a Deadpool.
Yeah. Don't you like see the like movie cover or like a picture of it, like in that slow mo bit in the beginning?
Yeah, I think it's like a trading card or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah, I remember some Easter egg for that being there, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
Apparently, like Dwayne Johnson's gonna be a DC,
Black Adam.
Black
Yeah,
Adam. Yeah, that's
saw
it.
that.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Which is gonna be
though,
cool.
he's getting his own movie and he's gonna be fighting Hawkman, not Shazam, which is kind of weird.
Oh, if he was fighting Shazam, that would be so cool.
Yeah, well, see what I think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna build to that. I think they'll have him
Yeah.
start with Hawkman, like in his own
To,
movie,
like,
to
get his-
introduce him,
and his
and then they'll
powers and
have
stuff
like
like that.
Shazam versus Black Adam as like its own movie.
Yeah.
But
That would be
I mean,
really
that's
cool.
a pretty perfect casting
Yeah.
for Black Adam. I mean, he's
Mhm.
huge.
Yeah. Dwayne Johnson's freaking ripped. But yeah.
But so I follow the director of the Shazam movie on Twitter, and so yeah, he was talking about that a little bit, and he said that he's planning on just making another Shazam movie, and I don't think that he mentioned anything about Black Adam because someone specifically asked, and he just said,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna go on with my schedule of the next Shazam
Yeah.
movie.
Which I mean, that makes sense because I mean
Yeah.
that casting's just been announced. I'm sure the second Shazam movie's been in the works for a fair amount of time.
Yeah.
Because that movie came out the beginning of this year,
Yeah, I think.
and it
so.
got pretty positive reception. I mean, I thought it was really
It
good.
was- it was an awesome
It was
movie.
a very entertaining movie. Like, not gonna win an award, but it was definitely a really good time.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of movie that everyone can enjoy. Like, the kids can enjoy
Mhm.
it just because of there's some like childish humor or whatever, but it also is entertaining to other. Yeah, like, I don't know. My entire family was pleased when
Yeah,
we walked out of the theater.
I don't think I've seen a single person who hasn't liked Shazam.
I've heard a couple people say they don't like it, but those are the same people that say that just say they don't like Shazam, they don't like Aquaman just because it's a DC extended
Oh.
universe movie. Those people,
Uh,
they're like, oh no, that movie's bad, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, shut up, boomer.
yeah.
All right, so you guys want to get into the movie trailers?
Can I do my suggestion
Yeah,
for the
Luke
week?
hasn't
You
done
not
his
done yours yet?
recommendation yet.
No.
We kind of went on a tangent
Jesus.
about DC.
Okay.
All right. My suggestion for the week is The Royal Tenenbaums. It's directed by Wes Anderson.
Have you recommended this before?
He is not.
No.
Okay.
That's a new one.
I feel like
believe.
I think you
Yeah.
might have just told me about this.
It's a really, really entertaining movie. It's really weird. Obviously it's Wes Anderson. It's got a lot of like pretty big name people.
Is it an Evil Dead spinoff?
Speaking of which, be sure to go see Evil
swear
Dead,
to God.
Evil Dead 2,
Oh my
Army of
God.
Darkness, and Ash vs. Evil
I
Dead.
literally hate you.
The TV series is on Netflix, so.
And High
Yeah.
School Musical, the series. Don't forget about that.
Oh
one.
yeah, but that's on Disney
Okay,
Plus.
real quick.
Imagine not having Disney Plus in 2019.
Real
Couldn't be
quick.
me. Clown emoji.
Bruh.
Luke just like walked in. I was working on scripts yesterday, and Luke walked in. Like I was working on a script with my group. Luke walks in. He goes, "Do you guys want to watch High School Musical, the series with me?" And I was like, "Luke, nobody wants to watch that." I was like,
That was the joke. Idiot face, idiot face, idiot face. But sorry.
Idiot face, idiot face, idiot face.
Yeah, the Royal Tenenbaums. It has Owen Wilson, Luke Wilson, Gwyneth Paltrow, Goop,
Wow.
Bill Murray, and Ben Stiller, and
Dang.
Alec Baldwin.
Oh my God. That is a
Yeah.
stacked cast.
It is, and it's a really entertaining movie. It's really weird.
What's the premise of it?
So, it's about this guy. I think his name is Royal Tenenbaum.
That is a weird name.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine naming your child that.
Here, let me pull it up. Yeah, his name is
Couldn't be
Royal
me.
Tenenbaum. But so, it just talks about so all of his kids are like geniuses and stuff, and they're really, really smart. And so it kind of is this family reunion where he comes back, and he's kind of a jerk, and nobody likes him. And so they're kind of, and they're all like geniuses in their own way. And then there's like a love interest between two of the kids, but they're not like directly related. So honestly, it's just the same as Barry Allen and Iris West in the TV show.
Mm.
But yeah,
Like borderline creepy, but not quite there.
yeah. It's a really entertaining movie, but you kind of have to be in the mood to watch it. Yeah. So do we want to get into the
we
to
can
the
hop
trailers?
into
Real quick, Twitter just notified me of a recommended tweet from Lily Reinhart that says, "Should I tattoo Baby Yoda on my face or?" Twitter, why are you notifying me of this?
What?
I don't care.
Who is
Like-
it?
Lily Reinhart? I have no idea who she
Yeah,
is.
I've
I don't
never
even
heard-
I don't even
that's
follow
such
her,
a-
and it's
such a-
recommending
She's
me
the
this tweet.
actor from Riverdale.
Oh, I don't watch that show.
I just
I
Imagine
recognize
getting
her from
Baby
anything.
Yoda tattooed on your face.
Yeah, but I don't understand why they're sending me this
Well,
notified. I don't
yeah.
even follow her.
I just got a notification that somebody liked my tweet. You should all follow my Twitter
I hate you so much.
and like my tweets.
Luke's Twitter is actually not bad. Like,
No, this recent tweet, I feel like
what recent tweet
it's
is
a
it?
thought that I've had in my head for a while, but I finally was able to put it into words that made sense.
You came out of the closet.
Shut up. I
Got
said,
him.
I like
That
women,
definitely
thank you
peaked the
very
audio.
much.
Apologies.
But so I said, whoever designed stairs must have wanted
Oh, I
me
saw
to
that.
always be in fear of looking creepy to women.
I saw that one.
And I feel like everyone, every
You should follow
dude
my Twitter. It's
falls into
at-
that.
Brady, you
it's
should follow me
underscore
back
Brayden.
on Twitter.
@_Brayden.
Dang.
I post stuff like, is calling a midget short racist?
No, it's stating a fact.
And they're not a race.
Yeah, they're a species.
You know, Braden, Brady follows me on Twitter.
Well, Brady would probably be more inclined to follow me if I actually tweeted like ever.
Exactly.
I tweet like maybe once a month, and half the time it's just retweeting news about like Arrow or whatever.
Little cheese man.
Yeah, I was kind of on a Twitter tangent because I usually, I tweet maybe once every month or so, but in the
Yeah.
past 2 days I've tweeted 3 separate times.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean,
Imagine
I don't know. I
tweeting
just
3 times.
I'd probably tweet. I'd probably tweet more if I had more followers. Most of the people that follow me are just like the random people that you get when you don't use a certain social media.
Yeah.
Because you just get these like dudes that follow 58,000 people trying to promote their business. I don't know.
Alright, sorry, I wasn't talking forever because I had to send a email to my teacher because she didn't get an assignment that has to be graded today.
I have also tweeted
Fun.
stuff like, just found out that Steve Jobs died in 2011. Life is crazy.
I missed something. Why are we on tweets now?
That was last
Because
year.
Twitter notified me of the Riverdale
the
chick
Lily
talking about
Reinhardt
Baby
thing.
Yoda.
I also tweeted 2
Okay.
days
Dude,
ago.
have you guys seen
No.
hashtag Verify Avalanche trending for the
I have
past
not.
like 2 days?
No.
Okay. Well, you're not. Brady, do you follow the mob on Twitter?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you should. They're actually really funny. Yeah. Whatever. But Avalanche is like a gaming.
Yeah, I know the name.
Yeah, he's like a Twitter, and his whole thing was he wants to get verified or whatever, and it was like trending with like 40,000 tweets like all day yesterday.
Also, I have one more tweet, but the reason why I'm telling you
Oh, no.
guys this tweet is because I'm genuinely curious of what your answer is. Okay, so if you use the bathroom in an RV on a road trip, are you shitting on the road?
Not literally, but yes.
Exactly.
Dude, imagine how sick it would be
Exactly.
if you just took your RV and made like a separate exhaust pipe that connects to your plumbing system. That your poop just like
Gets
it
launched out.
It just
No, it
like a
builds up.
compressed air can.
It builds up.
Oh no!
And then every time you speed up, when you accelerate, it goes spitting it out.
No, you can press a button to just dump it all out like an oil slick or like a
Oh my
spike
God.
strip, except it's just a
Cops are
massive
chasing you, and
turd.
You
You just
couple
drop a turd on the
shit piles
freeway.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so let's get.
It
talk
looks like a
about the,
soft serve ice cream dispenser on the back of your.
Okay. with only chocolate.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about trailers.
Let's
So,
talk about trailers.
what do you guys want to talk about? Black Widow or?
I think we'll start with Black Widow.
Yeah, start with
Okay.
the Black
Yeah.
Widow
That one
trailer.
came out first. I
Mhm.
mean, I thought it was really good. Like
Look pretty
the
good.
movie looks very good. The I've been talking about it
Mhm.
since the trailer came out. Those little like synth hits where it's like.
Yeah. If you guys
are
haven't
so
seen
Yeah,
the
sick.
that was-
trailer,
I
go
love
watch
that.
it just so you have context of what
Yeah,
we're talking
definitely.
about.
I mean, if I'd be surprised if people haven't seen
Yeah.
it by now.
I hadn't seen it till yesterday.
Well, it
Well,
only came out,
came
the, day
out the day
before,
before,
so
yeah.
that's somewhat understandable.
Mhm.
If you're just like not active on social media at all that day.
But yeah, no, the synth hits in that trailer were used really well. It was
Mhm.
just kind of like a. I don't know how to explain.
I don't know,
It was
it-
just like
it
it was like
fits-
a bass drop, but not as memey.
It fits
Yeah.
what the like the genre
The feel
and
of it, yeah.
yeah, it just fits the feel of the movie well.
The
I'm
action.
gonna pull it up real quick so you guys can hear what we're talking about when we say the synth
the action
hits.
sequences in the trailer looked really, really good.
yeah.
Like with the skydiving or like
Yeah,
falling
no,
out
that
of the
looked really
plane
good.
and stuff like that was really, really cool. And like Taskmaster's costume is like really.
Taskmaster
Yeah.
looks so
He
sick.
looks insane.
Do you guys think Taskmaster is gonna is gonna have some like history with them with like because his whole thing is he can copy everyone's fighting skill and he had a bow in that trailer, so maybe they could have like remember when they referenced like Budapest
I know,
in the Avengers?
that-
what if Budapest was Taskmaster
yeah.
and he copied Hawkeye's
Hawkeye's-
archery skills?
Yeah, I really want that to be the
That
case.
would be so cool.
That
And
would
if
be cool.
Hawkeye is actually in the movie, that would be even cooler. But I don't think
I
he
would
will
hope
be.
Hawkeye would be in the movie.
Yeah,
because
I
him
really
and
hope
Black
he
Widow
is.
are like are supposed to have like such a like history.
Mhm.
It wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't because this takes place right after Civil War, which was everybody gets imprisoned that betrayed Iron Man, rightfully so. Don't do that
Mhm.
to my man Tony Stank.
Tony Stank.
And Hawkeye went to prison and then he took his like deal where he gets the ankle monitor like Ant-Man did so he could be with his family.
Yeah.
So he probably won't be in it unless they do like a
Unless they,
flashback.
yeah.
I hope they would do flashbacks just because like Black Widow's past is so mysterious, and that's
Mhm.
where everyone thought the movie would be taking place.
Of her like origin story.
Yeah,
type
which would
thing.
make the most
Yeah.
sense. But I mean, I think this is an okay time to put it in because they really did have a pretty big jump between like Civil War and Infinity War, where you pretty much just had no idea what everyone was doing between those two movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Mhm. I think, like, the reason they didn't do the origin story is because it would be like too weird and like
Yeah.
hard to do with like her actual origin story is like getting like trained to be like an assassin, but like in like a sister home or whatever like type thing like that. So
All right.
so
Here.
it'd be kind of weird.
I'm gonna
but-
play one of the things.
So,
See how sick that sounds?
Thank you.
Sounds so cool.
Yeah.
I love the music for that
Yeah,
trailer. It fits perfectly.
Definitely. That I think that's what really elevates that trailer for me
Mm-hmm.
is how good the music is. I mean, that's usually what makes a trailer is how good the music is.
Yeah.
Like some
That's
trailers.
usually what makes a movie sometimes.
Yeah.
as well.
If
Oh,
you
yeah,
have
a lot of-
terrible soundtrack,
definitely.
Baby Driver.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. That is an S tier movie right there.
Yeah.
But like I mean, there's some movies that I could still go watch the trailer for right now, having already seen it, and still be entertained, just because the music for the trailer is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is it just me, or have you guys kind of noticed like this weird genre of like females that are like trained assassins and use their sexiness to kill people? Like it's this weird
They
genre.
don't use their
with a-
sexiness to kill people.
Well,
They just purposefully look very
Attractive.
yes,
you know,
to seduce the guy.
showing off
to
as
seduce,
they do it.
Yes, to seduce the guy and then kill him.
Yep.
Like this
Not-
movie
Mhm,
kind of
they don't
seems
go
like
like,
it's part of that
Bang,
genre.
sexiness,
I
and
don't
then
know.
they
I
die.
don't think so.
Okay.
They don't
I
like
don't
start
think-
twerking.
Bang.
and they
I don't know.
die.
I think
It's-
Marvel knows its fan base well enough, and what they've. I mean, Black Widow's been around for a while. She was like that in. Yeah, I know. Captain Marvel was trash, but I think they know how to treat the Black Widow character.
Yeah.
Because she's
Yeah.
been around for a while, and I don't think there's anybody that's like, oh, I hate what they did with Black Widow in this. It's just
Yeah.
she's always been kind of more of a side character. Like
Mhm.
she's only really in the Avengers movies
For her
and Winter
looks.
Soldier
She's
and
in
Iron Man 2.
Man.
Thanks, Brady.
So I don't think they're gonna go too far with that.
I mean,
I think it'll probably be okay.
I,
It doesn't look too bad.
I understand with like what you're coming from.
I know exactly where
but-
you're coming from.
But the way you put it was so stupid. It's like they
Yeah.
don't just twerk and the person fucking dies.
Okay,
Like-
no, I'm talking like the movies. Shoot, there's like this weird subset of
Charlie's
There's
Angels?
this weird stuff like that where
I
they
can
like
tell that movie's like that
where
just
they
from
like
the trailer.
take the man,
Mhm.
they seduce them, and then they kill them, and it's like this weird subset
Well,
of
I
a
mean-
genre. And there are
But
like
they don't do
multiple
that with
movies
every
like
single
that.
person.
No, I know.
But
I'm
it's-
just saying like
It's
mean,
what the
if
movies
you-
like
if-
to advertise. Like when you
if
see
you
the
could
trailer for it, that's
Get a
what's in the
job
trailer.
done and also have sex. You can't tell me you wouldn't take that.
It's not
Christ.
about
Like-
having sex. It means
No.
it means when you bend over to slice the guy's throat open, you're showing your ass like a Linity or something. Like her dog is, you know.
No, but it because
Okay.
they're
In the
they're
business.
vulnerable at this stage. So
And they
that's
don't-
that's the easiest time
Yeah.
to kill someone because
And they-
they're not expecting it at all.
And they don't even do it in just like movies that are just focused on that. But if you look at like, what was the one X-Men movie where Jennifer Lawrence like
Oh,
changes and
yeah.
then she almost kills that one guy or something?
That's
I think that's
in
Days of
first-
Future
yeah,
Past.
Days of Future
Yeah,
Past.
that one. And then there's also like what's that? Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, where she gets that one guy into his room.
Mm-hmm.
Who's-
and then she-
Which she?
The one she's mixed.
Mixed
I'm trying
race?
to think.
Yes, like she's
I know who
what
you're talking
Yes.
about. Yeah,
about.
I know
Yeah.
who you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah,
hot.
the other chick, the chick
yeah.
that was on their team.
She's got like long
I always,
black hair.
I kind of forgot because I was just thinking of the chick from James Bond that was also in that
Mm.
movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
I forgot about the one that was on their team.
it also comes down to sex sells. Like that's
I-
You know
I know.
what?
And
Well, see,
with the
with-
Marvel community, with all the fat nerds out there, like you can't like if you have someone who looks like that, you can't tell me you wouldn't
Yeah, yeah.
like,
No.
use it to some
I'm
extent.
not- I can understand using it to some extent, but from this trailer for Black Widow, at least, it doesn't look like that's what they're doing.
Well, yeah, no.
We
no.
know they didn't do that with
Definitely
Captain Marvel. Like,
There's no way they could have
when
done
it-
it.
there
when
wasn't much.
They didn't try to
set.
make her look attractive at all.
I mean,
There
if
wasn't
they
much
focused on
to
Jude
sell.
Law more, that movie might have sold more tickets.
There was,
Although it did join the $1 billion club, so like I can't bash
Mhm.
its selling too
superhero
much.
actresses
I went
usually
to see
fall into two things. It's either like feminist or like sexy and badass.
Yeah.
And it's
I think Black Widow has not really had the uber feminist problem.
no, definitely not.
She's been one of the few like
But it,
oh
she-
this is a chick doing action. Black Widow has been one of the few examples where it's not super in your face and obnoxious like oh
That,
she's
like,
a woman
oh,
she's a woman she's a
yeah.
woman
Yeah.
where they're just ramming it down your throat and it's like okay I've had enough of this and then you just throw it up.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really had a problem with Black Widow like
Cause
ever.
like
She's just cool like
yeah,
was
it's
unnecessary.
just
you sounded like you were eating a carrot
oh my god.
but like really obnoxiously.
like the
The puffer fish, yeah.
Asian audio man, how do you like this audio?
Oh. Yeah, I don't like that.
He doesn't like it.
Down
Thumbs
vote.
down.
Dislike button equals pressed.
But yeah.
By the way, if you're enjoying the podcast, be sure to leave a like.
What a random
so
spot
random.
to put
It was
that.
so random.
Not
But-
random.
I
Who
mean,
wouldn't enjoy Luke's little ASMR session?
Okay.
Hello.
Puffer fish.
Bro.
That was the puffer fish. That was my impression of the puffer fish.
Yeah.
That sounded like the tiger noise that people always make in like a sexy joke.
Yeah, but I went.
But instead I coughed up a hairball.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to get into the
James Bond?
James
Bond.
James Bond.
That I think Bond was the better of the two trailers. I mean, Black Widow was solid, but I mean,
James Bond.
James Bond, like,
It's hard
and you
to
can
beat
you can
his
already
trailers.
tell that this next Bond movie is gonna be like Skyfall levels of good.
Yeah.
Like, it looks. I would be floored if this movie wasn't good. It looks
Mhm.
really good.
Would you be roofed if it was? I hate myself.
I want.
Alright, I'ma head out.
Stop.
See you guys later.
Just-
I'm signing
I
off
didn't
for
say
today.
that. I never said that.
Hello and welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast.
That was terrible, Brady. You make me want
Yeah,
to kill
that was-
myself.
All right, guys, I'm back. Yeah, Brady. Honestly, that made me want to uninstall.
I got my
life.
one horrible joke in for the podcast, so now
One?
I'm happy. Yeah. I always have at least one terrible joke in each podcast.
Yeah, I think
That's a
yeah,
fair point.
Yeah.
Gotta get my
Yes,
one.
Because you only make one joke each podcast.
Yeah, because that's all I need. That's all I need. As long as I get my one horrible
Man
joke,
just
I'll
got
be happy.
cooked. Holy.
All right, let's get back to the trailer.
Yeah.
With like the music and everything about it.
I mean, just a lot. It looks like it's gonna be very diverse with its locations. Like we see the like classic Bond, like European country. They go to Jamaica.
Yeah.
There's that one bit in
Mhm.
the snow. I
Yeah.
think they're
Yeah.
in Cuba
They
for
were
part
in a
of it.
bunch
Like
of
that
different
club
places.
scene is in Cuba.
Yeah, there was a lot of different film locations for this.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
as
it
you would
seems,
expect with
yeah.
Bond.
Asian audio man, he was talking about how much he loved this trailer. So, do you wanna talk about the trailer?
Michael looks so confused.
Michael's like the kid that just got dropped off at kindergarten on the first day, and he's,
He's just like sitting there. Like,
I
what do
just
do?
thought that Rami Malek's mask in the trailer looks
Oh,
so
yeah.
sick
Yeah.
because it looks like a porcelain doll or
Yeah.
something. And that shot of him in the snow with his white
Mhm.
coat on and like half the mask is broken
It's like
off.
Phantom.
That
Yeah.
one where
Stuff.
where,
Looks so
where he's
cool.
got the full mask on behind the like frosted glass
Yeah.
with the
Oh,
lines.
yeah.
That was a sick shot.
Yeah.
Like that looks
Mhm.
so cool.
I'm really happy that he's in it because I
I-
think he's really good.
Yeah.
He's a really good actor.
I think the one bit that confused me was the shot you're talking about where he's got the like broken mask. He had like a blue pizza face where the mask was broken,
Yeah.
but in the bit a little bit after that, where Bond is in his like lair or whatever, he doesn't seem to have pizza face. So maybe he like gets blown up in this movie.
Yeah.
Because also later in that trailer, we don't see him with the mask anymore, and he's just got like this long black trench coat.
Yeah, that's the shot I was talking about, where he didn't have the pizza face.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool with Rami Malek. I haven't seen him in like a villain type role before. He's always been like the good guy who was like Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. He was the Pharaoh in like Night at the Museum.
He played
and stuff like that.
Elliot.
Yeah, he was the Pharaoh.
Yeah, I didn't know that until like last year. I was like, huh.
Interesting.
His best role is Elliot from Mr. Robot. If you've never
Mr.
seen
Robot,
that, it's so good. He's so
What's that?
intense in that role.
What's Mr. Robot?
It's about like this person named Elliot who's played by Rami Malek, and he's.
Is it a movie or a TV show?
It's a series.
Yeah.
It's 4 seasons long. They just
it
had their
end?
final season. Yeah. I haven't seen the last season yet, but seasons 1 and 3 are so good. And he's like this super good hacker, but it's a dark show. And he has like mental problems, and he sees his dead dad, and like his multiple personality disorder too. But it's really good, and then a whole bunch of side plots happen, and they get into trouble with like some Chinese gang or something like that. But it's
so
pretty
it's probably
intense.
banned in China.
Yeah, it's really good, very very good.
Yeah, didn't he win like an Oscar
Yeah, for Bohemian
for
Rhapsody.
Bohemian?
Yeah,
like best actor
haven't seen that
or
movie.
something like that.
yeah.
I thought
he
it
was
was a good
definitely the
movie.
best part of that movie.
Yeah,
Without
he
him,
was
the
really
movie
good.
would be like a 6.
Yeah. He really made the movie.
He carried it.
Yeah, he carried the movie. But he's a really good actor, and I'm glad that he's in this one as like a different kind of role, as like a bad guy instead of always being the good guy.
Yeah, he I don't know. He just kind of has that Bond villain vibe in this trailer.
He kinda-
Like classic Bond villain, not like new Bond villain where it's like a cyber terrorist or whatever. Like an OG James Bond villain, like one of the guys that are
The good ones.
that are a little quirky.
Mm-hmm.
No,
He
not
gives off
necessarily.
like a super evil genius
Uh-huh.
like vibe.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I think it's gonna be really cool.
And then that last shot in the trailer, like of the guy on the motorcycle going up the stairs.
I think that was.
Was that supposed to be Bond?
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
I
because
think
we
that
saw
was,
him
yeah.
in the bit where Rami Malek was voicing over. He like drifts the motorcycle in that same setting. So I would assume it's Bond.
Yeah.
I'd have to look
Safe
again.
bet.
You can probably tell by the clothes.
There was a lot of cool looking action scenes. Like
Yeah.
there was one with the car where like he flipped a switch and like the headlights came out with like Gatling guns.
Classic machine
And he
guns,
started
yeah.
to like do like donuts and like shoot like all the people around him. With
Again
the car
with
and, like, all
the
that stuff.
the trailer music, that shot was so.
The trailer
so much
music
better.
was really good, but
Yeah.
I mean it's James Bond, so like it's like I mean it's hard to beat the James Bond music. Like it's super classic, but it still holds up really well.
Since it's been like there since the beginning, like the Mission Impossible music, it's just like so like catchy and like you know it like as soon as you hear it that it's like James
It's
Bond.
like Star
or
Wars,
Mission
too.
Yeah.
Impossible,
Star
or
Wars is
stuff
so
It's
like
it's
that.
just one of those classic theme songs that it's like it's classic, but they've managed to kind of like not modernize it, but just kind of keep it to where
Up
it
to
doesn't
date.
sound like it's from the 60s,
Yeah.
even though it is. Actually, I think it's from before that. I don't know when the first Bond movie came out. I think it was around then.
Probably the 50s.
I think it was around there.
I can Google that real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So, do we want to hop into
The Irishman?
The Irishman?
I think we should.
All right.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So first off, I don't know if we said this at the beginning of the podcast, but we went to go see we didn't go to see. We all
Netflix, baby.
We all watched The Irishman on Netflix. It's a new movie that just dropped pretty recently.
It's from Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
It's got Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. Like,
Yeah, but it's about the mob, like the Italian mob, and just kind of like what they do.
Yeah. It's also 3.5 hours.
Yes, it was.
I think
so
that was-
long.
That
So
was kind of
long.
my one thing with this movie was I think it was too long.
Yeah.
Like
Same.
I couldn't watch it all in one sitting.
I watched it all in one sitting. It was.
I mean,
it
I
was
didn't.
crazy.
I didn't. I watched it over like I started it the
I-
day it came out, and I finished it this morning.
I was gonna watch it last night. I was gonna watch like half it last night or the night before, and then the rest tonight or last night. But I forgot, so I had to watch the whole movie last night for the podcast. And it was rough. I'm gonna say like there was times where I was just kind of like sitting on my couch in my room, just
It's like I just want to die.
yeah, like but I was like, you know,
I think they could have cut it down to like
oh definitely
2 hours and 45
definitely,
minutes.
definitely. But I mean, it was still an enjoyable movie.
It was definitely enjoyable.
It was nothing crazy, but like I mean, it was a fine movie.
I thought it was really good. Like the cinematography was excellent, like
Mhm.
as you would expect with Scorsese.
One thing I was really disappointed. I'm sorry to cut you off. One thing
you're
I was
good.
really disappointed about was the blood. The blood was so shit. Like whenever they got shot, the blood squirts and stuff. I didn't think they looked great.
There were times where it didn't look good, but I think there were also times where I thought it did look good.
No.
I
And
think it was
just
kind
kind
of
of
a
how
mixed bag.
people got shot.
Yeah,
Like-
the way people got shot, it was kind of weird, but I kind of liked it because there were some times where I would like literally kind of jump because I wasn't expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Uh,
when he goes around the corner and the one guy's just standing there and he just walks up and he's like, "Oh, I was waiting for you." He just goes.
When was that in the movie?
It's like
That was like
Was it in the
halfway
beginning?
through.
Halfway
that
through,
was
okay.
when the main character killed him.
yeah,
Killed the one dude. It was because
because
he
the guy
had
made
to-
him like blow up the
the mob bosses.
yeah.
Because remember the mob boss had a share in like this like milk factory or some shit like that, and he had to blow it up for this other dude who was paying him to do it, and he didn't realize the mob boss had.
Oh
a-
yeah, 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 yeah,
share
yeah,
in
yeah.
it.
The one that the Jew ran milk
Yeah, yeah,
factory.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
That's
then-
when we
so
were-
He just took it into his own hands and just capped the dude.
Yeah, yeah. Now I remember that.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of weird. I mean that's kind of how stuff happened around that
Yeah.
time, where they just kind of like, oh hey, and then they just
Yeah.
got shot.
It was a lot more realistic than dudes sitting on top of a roof with a sniper rifle,
Yeah.
sitting there.
But it was
Mhm.
just, I feel like some parts of the blood wasn't up to par, and also I don't think the falling was as well. Like,
Like people falling on the ground.
yeah, like how they got shot because they were just, I don't know. It was kind of weird. It felt really awkward to me.
Were they
Some
trying
of
to
the-
like?
It
ride-
almost
some
felt
of the-
robotic.
Some
Oh,
of the
really?
shooting bits I did notice felt a little awkward, but some of them I also felt worked really well as just like
Yeah.
like a not a drive by, but a just like you walk up boop, 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 and then just keep going.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I did notice some of them were a little bit scuffed.
Yeah. One of the parts that stuck out to me was like one of the last people they killed when they brought him to the house. He like killed his friend. That was really weird because he was like, "All right, let's go," and then he just went like put his hand up and went and just like kind of shook his arm. That was really kind of scuffed. I wasn't a huge fan of that,
Mhm.
but I mean, you know,
That was one of the ones that I for sure like jumped at because I was not expecting it. But I was also in a lunchroom and couldn't totally hear like everything they were saying.
Yeah. It was kind of weird that the blood effects at times weren't that great, especially because the de-aging effects were so good.
They
they
were
were so
really
good.
good.
Like,
that's one
they
thing
were
that I
really
noticed.
good.
It was amazing.
Like you didn't
Like,
even
they-
notice
yeah.
it.
They had the main character young, like probably late 50s, and then like really old at the same
Yeah.
time. And I
Yeah.
think the actual
it
actors
was.
maybe late 50s. I think.
I think he's a little more
mhm.
than late 50s, but he's not like to the point where he was at the end of
Yeah.
the movie.
Who is the cast? I can't remember who. the cast
Robert
is.
De Niro, Al Pacino,
Oh,
and
yeah, that's
Joe
right.
Pesci are
Okay.
the main characters, and then everybody else is just kind of a side
That's a
character.
pretty good cast for a mob boss
I mean,
movie.
Martin Scorsese, he's
Yeah,
like the
true.
mob boss movie guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, yeah, the casting was great. No, I mean not
Robert
just
De
with-
Niro's 76.
Oh, okay.
Is he really 76?
Yep.
Wow.
He doesn't look. He doesn't look like
You know, he
76.
looks
No,
great.
he doesn't.
He looks
76.
really not like 76. He looks like he could be 60, 65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the casting was really good. Not just like obviously those main characters, but like even just the rest, just the side character, or not the side characters, just the extra like cast members in the background who were part of the mob. Just
Yeah.
like massive dudes,
Yeah.
just like massive Italian men. It's just like,
Massive.
but it it worked. They
One
did a
of
good job with that.
one of Al Pacino's sons. He's like one of the sons or whatever.
Was it the one that was driving with the fish in the car?
I don't remember, but he
Yeah, the fish.
Air quotes.
he looks to me every time I see him in a movie, and I've been seeing him in more and more movies. He was in Game Night. He was the police officer. He looks like off-brand Matt Damon. Like that's the only way to describe him.
the fish guy then, because he kind of looked like Matt Damon a little bit. I also thought that he looked like crap. I don't remember the dude's name.
This
but it's,
guy. If that doesn't
Yep,
look like
that guy.
off-brand
Yeah.
Matt
Yeah.
Damon,
Yep.
I don't
Yeah,
know
it does.
who does.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Like,
He's like Matt Damon post stoner phase,
It's post stoner face.
But, yeah.
or during his stoner, or during a stoner
Yeah,
phase.
I don't know how to feel about the movie because, like, overall, it was pretty good. The blood was kind of iffy. Just like the dying in general was kind of iffy. The extent of the movie was like it was way too long. It was so long.
Yeah, 3.5
But
hours
again,
for
like the
a movie.
de-aging and just the storyline were all pretty good.
I think if they want to do a movie that long, they should have broken it up into like chunks,
yeah.
like they did with the
Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight on Netflix, the like extended cut or whatever. They broke it into like 4 episode or like chapters
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
which worked especially for that movie because it's like Tarantino and you've got like chapter 1, chapter 2, whatever. But I think they should have broken it up into like episodes,
Mhm.
which is, I mean, that's pretty much how I watched it anyway. Like I watched probably 40 minutes of it a day this week.
Mhm.
And I watched a little bit of it last week. I think the other thing for me, it started out a little bit slow. Like most
it
movies,
kind of did, but I
most
was
movies start out slow.
I was intrigued at the start,
Yeah.
and then towards the end, I was just like, okay, like how.
Just, like,
That
get
was
it
kind of the
done.
opposite.
Dude,
of
when I
the
got
way-
halfway, I was like, all right, this got to be done soon, and I like paused it to see how long. It was
That
like,
kept- yeah, that
they're
kept
halfway,
happening.
and I was
Right
like,
in the
no
halfway
way.
marker.
yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just I started it while we were down for Thanksgiving,
Okay.
Mhm.
and I mean usually I'll sit there for however long and watch whatever I want to, but like it just started a little slow, and I was just like, I'll watch this later.
It definitely did. It definitely had a
But
slow
it def-
start,
it-
but I was.
It pretty much picked up right after where I stopped
yeah.
it while we were down for Thanksgiving. I think it
This-
felt longer
how-
because all movies start out slow. Just
Yeah.
since this movie's
Yeah.
so long, the slow bit in the beginning just lasted
It's just
longer.
longer. Yep.
I'd say if you're gonna watch any of the movie, like let's say you don't want to watch the whole thing, but you want to watch some of the movie, I'd say just watch like the middle bit. So like right after that first like boring introduction part, but not so far where you're like halfway through the movie where it's just
Mhm.
all the just shootings and just all the
Like a
clip hits
quarter
of it.
through the movie start. Yeah.
But I mean, it was a good movie. It definitely wasn't like award winning or anything.
I
don't
think
know.
it was award winning.
I think it would have a pretty good shot at.
I mean, for
Some
probably
awards.
the de-aging, but like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
Also directing.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Martin
Yeah.
Scorsese
Mhm.
coming back for another movie.
I don't know. I don't know. It was kind of a letdown for me. I mean,
Really?
it was good.
I
I
mean-
didn't expect too much. Like it wasn't like Joker level or whatever.
I expected it to be
But-
good, and it delivered. But like, this isn't my typical genre of movie, so I didn't
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
enjoy
It was-
it,
it was
quite
weird.
as
I don't know,
much
it
as
was
I would
weird.
enjoy, like Mission Impossible Fallout. But especially for it not really being the type of thing that I usually watch, it was very entertaining. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I loved it, and I'm not into like gangster movies or whatever. I haven't even seen The Godfather,
I haven't either.
but
Yeah,
I
haven't
thought
seen
that
Godfather
movie was
either.
awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was really, yeah, definitely.
No, it was good. Like I enjoyed
I think
it.
there
But
were
it
a
was,
couple dicey things with it, but overall,
I think
it
the-
was a very good.
The
movie.
problem was for me is like 'cause I had to all watch it in one sitting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It was,
I think
Yeah.
I think the runtime is the main problem
Yeah.
that most people are gonna have with
Yeah.
it, just because
Hmm
3.5 hours, like
If you're not in a theater to see it, you're not gonna watch 3 hours. Like
I
it's
only
on
watched,
Netflix.
like,
It's not in one sitting. At
well,
least.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Even
Like if you're gonna have a 3-hour movie, if you're gonna have a 3-hour movie, don't only release it to Netflix. Like
even Endgame, which like the Avengers is like a very close second to Arrow of what I enjoy the most
Yeah.
watching. And even Endgame, which was only 3 hours, that's even that in
but
the theater
that
still
kept your
felt.
attention.
Oh yeah, it definitely
But
kept my
that
attention,
had
and
you
I
hooked
never
from the
thought
very
like, oh,
beginning.
when is this gonna end? But even that, you can feel the runtime. Pretty much, I think
Yeah.
2.5 hours is kind of the cap for me. Anything more than 2.5 hours, I think, is too long.
Mhm.
With Endgame, it's
Yeah.
understandable because they're wrapping up everything and whatnot, and they've got to whatever finish with a
The
bang.
big thing, yeah.
So that's understandable why it would be 3 hours. But I didn't think this movie needed to be 3.5
Definitely
hours long.
not.
I think they could have trimmed it down to 2:45 or even 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Or even just like you said, split into multiple like chapters or episodes.
Yeah.
Because the part that killed me, like I was saying, like that first bit was great. Like I was really entertained. But the part that killed me was just like after a while it got kind of repetitive, and then it was kind of like the character building and just like those conversations. Like when he got his award and they were just there was like 10-20 minutes of just people talking, and that was kind of
I think that's kind of, if they were going to cut the movie down, that's what they should be cutting.
Yeah.
Is a lot of the dialogue scenes just kind of went for too long.
yeah.
Like, they could have been short. They could have accomplished what they accomplished
In a quicker.
there was a
amount of
lot of
time.
Yeah.
unneeded conversations that
Yeah.
it showed, especially in that like award scene. Like obviously there was the one conversation that you really need for the story, but there was like everything before that was just kind of like, it was more filler stuff.
Yeah.
It felt like,
Mhm.
which was completely unneeded.
I don't know if I'd say filler. I think it's just.
Well,
I think it was just some of it was a little more drawn
it was
out
like
than it
side
needed to
story
be.
kind of stuff. Like it was, I don't know. Yeah.
I think just a lot of scenes and like sequences just could have been slimmed down a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
That was really
And-
my only like a big thing with this movie. Like the runtime was really the only thing that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah, and
Like-
I think the big problem is with how long the talking scenes were versus the fight scenes or the action scenes, because the action scenes were, oh hey, bam, you're dead, and they walked off.
Well,
and then
I
it
mean
was,
that with
so,
a mob movie, that's kind of to be
Yeah, that's
expected
kinda how it
because
is.
it's
Yeah.
not gonna be like car chases and
I mean, yeah.
helicopter stunts.
Yeah,
But
it's
you
gonna
could
be like the
at least
back
have
alley
one
stuff.
like bar shootout or something like that,
I wouldn't have been against that.
and like
Yeah.
like something along those lines. But it was the reason why I'm saying is because for how much time they used for talking, they needed equal time for the fights and attacks
To
or
try to
whatever.
balance it out so it wasn't just
Yeah.
all dialogue heavy. and
Yeah,
that
because it
there
was
something
it was so dialogue
entertaining to keep you
And it
like
wasn't-
intrigued.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't dialogue heavy and like I mean they were explaining the story, but there was a lot of kind of unneeded bits.
Unnecessary like dialogue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, so they just needed to make it. If they just made the fights and dialogue more equal, I feel like I would have enjoyed it more and been more entertained.
Mhm.
But it felt like there was a lack of fights.
Yeah.
and, yeah.
I was only able to watch like bits and pieces of it because again it was like 3.5 hours, so
Yeah.
it wasn't so long. But like it wasn't so long. It was so long that from what I saw, it was a very like dialogue heavy movie,
Mhm.
which was kind of
And I mean that's fine too.
I
But
kind of
just,
expected that,
yeah.
but it would have been nice to have some more like brawls or like shootouts
Yeah.
type stuff in the movie.
Yeah, like fist, and it's like again, like what Brandon was saying, where it's like it's mob, so it's like a lot of it was like, oh hey, bam, you're dead.
Yeah, it was.
But like a bar
I
shootout or like a fist fight, like something like that.
Now
Yeah,
that you
exactly.
say that, I don't think necessarily a fist fight because I think it just really wouldn't fit with the movie, but definitely like just a straight up bar brawl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That would have.
or it's like an interrogation or something like
Yeah,
that. Like,
it wasn't very exciting.
yeah,
It was it was a much more kind of chill movie.
yeah,
Not
In fact,
not
it-
necessarily subject matter, just there weren't really any like high octane moments where you're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen? Like the stakes are high.
It was just
There
like, we're
wasn't
gonna
really
kill this
much of
person, and
that.
then they just do it. And then it was
Yeah.
like, there was
Yeah.
no like, oh, the cops might come and get us, or like something like that. So it was just like,
Which I
they're
don't have a
just dead.
problem with. It's
Yeah.
just, it's not the kind of thing that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? What's
Yeah.
gonna happen? Like with
It's- it-
Avengers Endgame. Again, I'm gonna keep comparing it to Endgame because
Yeah.
like the end of Avengers Endgame, which also had a very long runtime, which normally I'd be like, that's too long. The last 45 minutes to an hour of that movie, I was on my edge of the edge of
the
my
whole
seat
time.
the entire time, like, oh my god, what's gonna happen, and it didn't feel like 3 hours.
Yeah, no,
This
it
movie
definitely didn't.
felt like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, and again, that's not saying it's bad. It's just not
Time
really.
flies when you're having fun. So it was like,
It's just
you
the-
know,
Yeah,
the
it's
type
just
of
it's
movie.
just not really. It's not my bag, but it's not the kind of thing that 3.5 hours of is gonna
Yeah.
really entertain me. Like
Mhm.
I could sit and watch 6 hours of like Arrow or like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, dude.
Oh, that's
I
a
could
good,
watch
yeah.
that show for 6 hours straight and it'd feel like 2.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could feel the runtime, and that's just I think due
Just the
to
type
it
of
just
movie.
being, it was just a more
Yeah.
slowly paced movie than what I'm
It-
used to.
It
Mhm.
felt like a documentary at times. Like it,
That actually is
it,
I can kind of see that.
it didn't, but it did. Like it was weird.
Yeah. It was
Um,
it's hard to describe this movie.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to watch it. Like, I don't like saying that, but like
It is just kind of
it's very subjective. Like
yeah,
like,
definitely.
some people are gonna love it and some people are gonna not like it, but I feel like most people will kind of be where I'm at, where like it's not my favorite movie of the year, but I don't think it was bad. I think it was
Yeah.
definitely a very solid movie, very good, very entertaining. You can definitely tell like there was a lot of effort
Yeah,
put into
definitely.
this, and I mean it is objectively a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just subjectively not everyone is gonna love it.
The runtime definitely killed it.
The runtime is kind of
Especially-
the thing that I didn't like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with just like people's attention span nowadays.
Yeah,
where
definitely.
A lot
They
of
just like the
things,
Oh
quick-
yeah, a lot of people
the
don't
quick
have a
stuff,
long
yep.
attention
yeah,
span.
and so to have to sit through that movie, especially in one sitting, God,
Mhm.
that sucked. Like the first part, again, I love the first part, but then as you got going around halfway and later on, it was just kind of like I was just waiting for
Was
it
it
to
like
end.
getting like repetitive kind of? or-
It was getting repetitive to an extent, but at the same time, like some things were kind of kept fresh. But
Okay.
it was a lot of, oh, there's this problem. Let's talk about the problem, and then we're gonna go deal with the problem. They walk up, shoot the guy. Okay, problem's over. Here's the next
And then
problem.
there's the next problem.
Like it was.
Walk up, shoot the guy. Problem's over.
It's just like, I don't know. It was like Brandon said. It was a good movie. Like it, but it was the runtime.
I think it was
It's hard.
it was a
it's
little
hard to explain.
anticlimactic. For
Yeah,
me.
definitely.
For how long it was, there wasn't a huge like payoff of like this big thing. It was just kind of like bang. All right, cool.
Yeah, and
Sick.
it wasn't
Next.
the deaths weren't payoff. Like at the end, this is gonna be a little spoiler if you guys want to
Yeah.
watch the
Spoiler
movie.
alert.
But towards the end, he killed like one of the people he was working. Like he
Al
backstabbed.
Pacino's character.
Yeah, one of the people
Jimmy
he was
Hoffa.
working with for like the whole time.
Mhm.
And I mean that was kind of like, oh, here's like I was interested in that. I was like, oh, he's gonna kill him. Like I mean, but at the same time, I could see what was happening from a mile away. Like I
Mhm,
knew
yeah.
what was gonna go down, and then I was there wasn't really any mystery to it. But even that, it was like that was such a big character in it, and that was such a turning point. And it was just kind of like, boom, you're dead, and then they
Mhm.
just went on with it, and it was the deaths weren't rewarding. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't. Deaths weren't a big deal. It was just kind of like.
Or just like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
classic like back out like I'm just gonna kill you now.
Yeah,
then I'm gonna
and there
move
was
on.
no like fights. Like no one realized that they were dying. It was just like, oh hey, bam, or like with
Yeah.
the Al Pacino's death, where it's like he walked in this house, looks around, it's empty, goes, all right, let's leave. Turns around and just pop, 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 and he's dead. He's dead. It's just like
And then it just like moves on to
Yeah.
like the next.
Luke,
The
you haven't
dis-
said anything in a while.
The description of the movie spoiled that part for me.
Really? What was the
Wait,
description of the
One of the
Yeah.
descriptions of the movie, it said whatever the main character's name
Frank
is.
Sheeran?
Frank Sheeran looks back at his life and his like
Choices or
no his involvement in the death of Jimmy
Jimmy
Hoffa.
Hoffa.
Yeah.
oh.
So I was like, oh, he probably kills him, and sure enough, he
well,
did.
Yeah.
It kind of pissed me off.
Was
Yeah,
it like
that-
just like a tweet description or like an actual?
It was like an actual
description?
description
Yeah, that
on
just
Google.
completely gives
Oh,
away.
wow.
I think it
that's
was on
stupid.
Rotten Tomatoes
That sucks.
or
Yeah.
Fandango or something.
Huh. I don't think they'd spoil the movie like
Yeah.
that. Like on.
I mean, I see what
Rotten
I mean.
Tomatoes
That's what
or
it
something like
was like, but you didn't realize that's what it was until the end. of the
I
movie,
didn't.
so-
That's a good observation. You didn't realize
It's
that
the
that's what it was
IMDb
building
description.
to until
Yeah.
it was there.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a good description. Like that's fine, but at the same time, you didn't. Like Brandon said, you don't
doesn't
realize
give you the shock
until
factor.
it's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So by doing that, they just end up spoiling the movie.
Mm.
But I mean, yeah, that's what it was about overall.
Yeah, the IMDb
Imagine
description.
spoiling a movie in the description.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah, that's
IMDb.
crazy.
IMDb,
That
please don't be clown
Yeah.
like that. That
But
is
it was-
clown moment.
And another thing, it was hard to follow the movie because it started off with him like really really old, and he was like looking back on his life, and then it went to he was young, and then it went to he was kind of like mid 50s and so and it
Mhm.
was just it kind of hopped around.
Just jumped around. Time
Yeah, and then
periods a
it
lot.
went back
Well,
to
see-
him being old and talking about it, and at times it was hard to follow,
don't
but
know, I didn't really
overall,
I didn't really get that. I thought
yeah,
I
don't know.
kind of understood it. Like you see him old, and then he starts to kind of like reminisce on whatever happened, and then you see him young, and then you pretty much it starts with when he's younger, not like young, but
Yeah.
like 40s, and you just kind of see the progression of that naturally until you're back to where he's old. And
Yeah.
occasionally they cut in like when he's voicing over like a shot of him old, but like I could understand that that's
Yeah.
what that was supposed to be. I don't know.
Hmm.
I didn't really have that.
Good, Brady.
I didn't really get too much of that. It's
It
just it was the plot was so complicated that like
Yeah.
even the parts I watched 2 days ago, I mean,
Are
I
still
still
kinda,
kind of
like,
need a refresher
confusing.
on.
Yeah.
Like this is the kind of movie that you got to watch like 5 times to
To
really
actually
be able to
understand it.
like
Pick up on-
understand like by memory,
Yeah.
like
Mm, mhm.
describe the plot.
I
of
mean,
it.
overall, I mean, they did the kind of hop around fine, but
Yeah.
at times I was kind of like, wait a minute, like I had to think about it for a second. But
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
overall, yeah, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't too bad with how they played the movie out.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, it was. I mean, it was good. Like I enjoyed it.
yeah,
But again,
definitely.
it's just that runtime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I definitely like it was a very enjoyable movie for me. I was thoroughly entertained. I thought it was just very well done.
Mhm.
Like it's a very slick movie. Like I don't know if you can figure out what I mean by that. Like
that was literally the description that I was gonna use. That it's slick.
yeah.
Like, oh my gosh,
A lot of the shot composition is
Yeah.
also really
oh
good.
the shots are. I think
I did notice a couple times though. There were a couple of shots that they held for too long.
Oh yeah.
Where like someone
Mm,
would walk out of a
yeah.
room, especially like after Jimmy Hoffa died. The shot of like
They-
the house or whatever,
yeah.
they held that shot for way too long.
So long.
I was like, okay, I can
Yeah.
understand like holding a shot for a while after like some bad
But-
thing happens or like a sad moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They hit
But
that mark
the-
and then went on.
And then it just
Yeah,
kind of
just kept
kept
going.
going to the point where I was like,
Like
that's kind of a yikes.
yeah.
like to like the point that like my screen freeze like that type
Yeah.
of.
Yo.
There were a
yeah.
couple times where I had to tap my screen and
To
check.
see if
Wait,
it
is
was
it
still
loading?
going.
Is it
Yeah.
loading or am I
Uh-huh.
good?
Yeah,
Like
those
there was one bit. I think it was yesterday when I was watching it. So probably back half, maybe back third of the movie. Somebody was like putting keys in a car. I thought my sound went out because it was so quiet, except for like the occasional like ching ching of the keys like hitting each
Yeah.
other.
Hmm.
I had to like pull my AirPods out and like check and make sure they were still on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started hearing the key things. I was like, wait a minute. Like, what? Because
Yeah.
it just got so silent.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, there were parts of the movie that were pretty quiet. And like, I don't know, like this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, where it's like the things that they did should have been more brought out and bigger, Cause like the taxi, the bit with the taxis
That was
where they were
cool.
like dumping it into the ocean or
That was
like
cool.
the water or whatever. I feel like that was
That was a very
a-
mob movie thing. to
yeah,
do.
that was and that was a pretty pivotal point. But I felt like that was really short, and it might have just been because I had to watch it all in one sitting. But leading up to that, I had no idea what they were doing. Like and then just cut, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they're dumping the taxis. But I wasn't. I mean, it might just been because I watched it all in
Yeah.
one sitting.
Mhm.
But I was just kind of like, it was just there, and I was like, oh, okay. But I feel like that scene should have been bigger.
Like the
And it
scenes
wasn't.
that were shorter should have been longer, and the longer ones should
Yeah.
have been like shorter, basically.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that, again, that
Yeah,
goes
that's
back
right.
to
That
like the
actually
talking
is-
points and then the action points.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel, Ben.
Yeah.
There were a couple like scenes or sequences in there, even like the montage where he's like throwing the guns in the river. I thought
Yeah.
that should have been longer because that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Like it looked really cool. Like just the location was very cool. Like
Yeah.
everybody goes to ditch their guns there or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked that montage to be a little longer.
Yeah.
And there were like the taxi part, just
The
most of the scenes where
The taxi
action
part-
or exciting related things are happening should have
Mhm.
been
Should have
longer.
been
I
longer.
think they're just
Yeah.
there wasn't quite enough of that for the runtime.
Yeah.
If this was a 2.5 hour movie, the amount of that would have been good. But for 3.5 hours, I think there should
A
have
whole
been
extra
hour
hour.
just a
of-
little more.
Yeah.
And there was like with the taxi scene, that's such a pivotal point. Like that's a pretty big thing that they did where they literally dumped all like they destroyed every taxi in the city.
Mhm.
And that didn't have like any impact. I was like, okay, they're destroying taxis. Like I was just kind of like
Sick, dude.
like I feel like writing wise it should have had more impact
Mm-hmm.
than just like, oh, okay, they're
I
just
thought
doing
the
this.
end was really well done, though.
The end was
the
good.
End,
Yeah, no,
the end
was
of the movie
good.
was very good, where
Yeah,
they
no.
kind of wrapped it up for everyone, where they like told you what happened to everybody,
Yeah.
and like showed a lot of it.
Yeah, no,
Oh, like the
end was really
flashback
good.
type voiceover
Yeah.
stuff.
One
Yeah.
thing I liked is every time a new character was introduced, they
They
told
show
you
how they die.
yeah, how they
that was
die.
really cool. I like that.
They just
Oh, that's cool.
like they just popped up a text where it was like they died on this date from this, and then
shot 3 times in his own home or
yeah,
something.
and then you would go further down the movie and you would see those clips play out, and you're like, oh, that's the guy, and
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and that also helped with just character building in general because
Yeah.
there was so many characters in this movie, so it's kind of hard to keep track, and that definitely helped me like because seeing the location of where they died or how they died, I was just kind of like that
You're like in
that
the
made
know,
it stick out more.
kinda.
Yeah.
Did you guys do you guys remember the very beginning of the movie where it has the text flash up on screen and it says like I heard you paint houses?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I figured out what that was.
It's based on a book.
Yeah.
That's the title
And
of the
that's
book.
the title.
Mm.
I saw
Thanks
an
for
interv-
stealing my thunder, Braden.
I saw an interview of somebody that was talking about that. It might have been even an interview with Scorsese,
That part where it popped at the text was like I heard you paint houses. That was kind of confusing at the start.
because it's not the actual title. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, and it was very randomly placed as well.
But he does talk about it in his
No,
in
yeah.
the monologue.
Well, yeah, they talk about it later, but like right
it's
off the
weird to flash text on the screen that's not the title.
Yeah.
Like that.
and it was kind of like in the
Mhm.
middle of like 2 different clips. It was a very odd place to put it. But later they talked about whereas like obviously the cops were like tapping their phones and stuff, so they couldn't just be like, yo, come murder this dude for me. But they were like, I heard you paint houses, so like paint him with blood.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, no, I mean I like that. That was a nice little bit there.
Yeah,
I like how they added that in.
definitely. I think. Surprisingly, no, I mean not surprisingly, but just the best part of this movie was the de-aging, which for a movie
Oh,
like
yeah.
this,
Dude, the de-aging
for a
was
movie like this,
insane.
you wouldn't expect the visual effects to be the best part.
Yeah.
But they were. I mean, it was like
Mhm.
it wasn't some like Tarkin Rogue One stuff where like it doesn't look
It was
bad,
just
but there's
yucky.
just something a
It hit the-
little
it hit-
off.
Yeah.
Or like Princess Leia in Rogue One,
It hit
where
the
she just
uncanny
looks
valley.
kind of where
Yeah.
she just looks kind of like not right.
Mm-hmm.
There's just some.
It
they-
was like
they-
flawless.
Yeah, they try to make it look too real, where it just
Mhm.
looks.
Which
Even
made it
worse.
look more
Yeah.
Yeah.
computerized type.
Yeah, but no, in this movie, it was like they filmed it through that dude's life. Like it
Mhm.
was, the de-aging was so good.
It really
And that
kind
was-
of transported you to
Oh,
that
yeah.
time
And
setting.
it stuck out so well. Like I was thinking, when they were like showing that that character is old, like that character, like the actor could probably look at that and be like, so that's what I'll look like when I'm old. Like, cause it looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Um,
he's not too far from
Well,
the
yeah.
very old version. I think they added a couple more like wrinkles, and he just kind of was.
I mean,
more
even-
old
I mean, even in
person-like,
his
and his
youth-
hair isn't actually white. They dyed his
Yeah.
hair white. His hair, pretty much like the version where he was like mid-50s. Like when he was at the awards show, that's pretty much what Robert
Yeah.
De Niro looks like normally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even just him as a person just looks old and weathered.
Yeah,
Like
he looks like he's been through it
yeah.
a couple times.
So I mean, I'm sure it wasn't to that extent. It wasn't too hard with like the super old de-aging, but so I'm sure that definitely helped the people who worked on the movie. But
Yeah.
because he just looks like he looks old. Like even when he was younger, he just kind of looks like an old dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if Endgame hadn't come out this year, this movie would definitely be a best visual effects contender.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably still get nominated.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just because Endgame kind of that's a bigger part of it, probably
Yeah.
will win. I mean, Infinity War won, but I mean, I think the visual effects in this movie are good because they're not like big explosion
Yeah.
where you can tell, oh, cool visual effects. It's the kind of thing where if you don't know it's visual effects, you think it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Like you think that they just like put makeup or whatever or something on Robert De Niro,
Yeah.
and then you're like, wait, that was visual effects. Oh my god, that's
The-
so good.
And with how good the de-aging was, that's why the blood was such a letdown for me. Because it was just like, there was so many parts where I was just like, ugh, that like, the death scenes were just kind of gunky. And it was like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but then there was one specific shot that stood out to me. It was like this dude got shot twice in the head.
Was it at the end? Was it the guy that they ran by at the end?
I
that was
think
walking
so.
out of
Yeah,
the store?
yeah.
The guy that worked for Pro?
Yeah, and like it was like outside of like a clothing store, and they had the big windows. Yeah.
Mhm.
So they like these two guys walked up, shot him in the head, and the blood and how he fell was really bad in my opinion.
I think the thing
But
I
then
noticed.
he sorry to cut you off,
You're
but
good.
so the blood and how he fell and how he died was like terrible, and I was like, ugh, that was bad. But then they did a close up on his face, and the
Yep.
bullet holes.
That's what I was about to
looked
say.
So good.
They weren't. Wait, what? I thought they weren't big enough. If someone gets shot in the head from that range, there should be
I
a
mean, yeah.
way bigger hole than like a thumbnail-sized hole in
That's,
their
I mean,
head.
okay, that's fair.
I thought his head should have been like gaping open to where they probably
Obliterated.
wouldn't be allowed to show that.
Yeah, that's fair. But
I didn't think it looked bad. I just think it didn't look accurate.
yeah.
For what they did, it looked good, but I think it just wasn't
from the
accurate to
blood,
what actually happened.
like splatters and stuff on the like just from all the other deaths and then going to that close-up shot. The close-up shots look a million times better than the blood splatters did, and that
Yeah.
was what kind of annoyed me because it was just like, and the close-up shots of obviously someone just completely just
Being dead.
Just
yeah.
dead. Yeah.
blood all over them, holes in their face. Like those are hard to do, and if anything, the blood splatters are the easier thing to do. But it was just the opposite.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it wasn't like amazing, but compared to the blood splatters, it was leagues better
Mm-hmm.
than the
Yeah.
blood splatters. But yeah, I don't know. The runtime and blood splatters were like the biggest things for me. The things are like so noticeable. When I was just like that. Ugh.
I don't know. I think the runtime was my only real like problem with it because fixing the runtime would have fixed any other
Yeah.
things that I was like, okay, this scene's kind of dragging a little bit. Fixing the runtime would fix that.
Yeah. So
There
a lot
wasn't
of the
really
scenes
anything
dragged.
else where like,
A lot
oh,
of them
this
did.
plot point doesn't really make sense. Like, oh, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really get too much of that. Like, the blood splatters, a couple of them looked a little off to me, but I wasn't like, oh my god, that looks terrible. Like,
Yeah.
Disco Chapter 2 Agents of the Law, it looks better than that.
I mean, some of them did. Honestly,
Really?
there was a few where I was like,
Because I mean, we watched
make
that
better.
again yesterday, and I was like, oh,
I mean, yeah.
yikes! I think they just weren't subtle enough in Disco.
Yeah.
The blood splatter, they were like everywhere instead of
Yeah.
just like a little bit of mist, and then.
But it was, I don't know, like overall, obviously,
Pistol.
there's more like mist when there's like a blood splatter.
Yeah.
And that's that's
I think
a
there wasn't
given.
enough mist
But
when
even
people got shot.
but even with, it felt like the opacity was turned like way down for the blood
can see
in
that, yeah.
Irishman. It was weird. It was like some of the blood effects that we do in our class.
I think it was a
better than
little
it.
too subtle.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't quite pronounced enough, especially for like when you see someone get shot and blood sprays everywhere. You don't really see necessarily the blood spray everywhere, but you
Yeah.
see that it's now there on the walls. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Or on the
it
ground.
was.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I feel like they used a majority of their budget on actors and de-aging, so they just drag and drop some like garbage blood splatter on just to fill that in. But I don't know. That was some of the blood splatters. I was just like, ooh, that was really not good.
Yeah.
Did it also have like something to do with like the type of gun that they used or something? Like,
that was
that kind of
other
changed
thing.
like the way that the blood
Yeah,
splash
I don't
should have
know.
been.
This
or
isn't
whatever.
like a problem with the movie. It's just like a nitpick. I don't like the guns they use. Like, I know that's probably what they actually used in the mob, but those little short, like, snub-nosed revolvers are so weird. Look, I just don't like how those guns look.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they're practical for that or whatever, and I'm sure they used them. I just don't like how they look. They look like something a Karen would carry in her purse to protect herself.
That's what it is.
were.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that brings me back to another point that I wanted to hit, but I forgot about it. At later in the movie, he had like a bunch of different weapons.
The gun choosing scene.
Yeah, and he like it
I
was
was
kind of like
hoping
a
he'd
voiceover.
grab that 1911.
Yeah, there was
'cause
like a
that's my
1911.
favorite
He's
gun.
like, you want something loud that'll like kind of scare away like people, like the civilians around it, but not so loud that a police officer patrolling on the street like across from you would hear. So he like moved the 1911s. Like, you don't want a suppressor because that's too quiet. And it's like, he's like, that's why the sub-nose revolver, which he literally said was like a woman's gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Would work the best because it's loud enough to scare away people, but I think it's like but it's quiet enough so cops won't hear it patrolling, and then it's easy to hide.
If you want to look badass, you use a 1911 and a silencer.
Well, yeah.
But if you're going for practicality, then yeah, it makes total sense.
And like
That's
concealment
just,
type
definitely.
stuff.
It's just my thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't like those guns.
Yeah, they were ugly guns.
They are
They
ugly
were
guns.
super
They're
ugly.
funny looking.
Yeah. Especially when he was like dual wielding them.
Yeah, when
and
he
it
was
just,
like,
yeah.
Look, there were a couple shooting scenes where he would like shoot someone, and I was like, that looks like how Michael Scarn shot people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no, that was
like
another
very
thing.
over the top.
That was another thing. Like
exaggerated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how they controlled the recoil, as I'm doing
Well,
air
just
quotes.
the way they handled the guns
Yeah.
in general sometimes was a little gunky.
Yeah,
kind of.
that was one thing I especially noticed. When they killed that one dude right at the end, his buddy who he was like he backstabbed at the end. I forget his name. When he killed him in the house, because he was like, oh, okay, there's no one here, let's go, and he literally like, stuck his arm up and just kind of like shook it around, and then it was like and then they made the just like muzzle flashes and gun noises, gunshots, and it was just like that was so gunky where he was just like he just stuck his arm up and just went.
Just like
and just,
flung
like,
it around a little bit.
literally like one of those like blow up things outside of like car lots that are just like
Oh
waving
my God.
around. And I was just like, ooh, that was really gunky. And it was like how he waved the gun. It's like none of those bullets would have hit him. Yeah, it was like how he waved the gun. It's like he would have just missed all of those bullets, but it was just like. It was, yeah. So the gun handling was unbelievably horrible in this movie. For me, it was, ugh. But I mean, yeah. Especially with like a sub-nose revolver, it's like those don't have that much kick.
Yeah.
And then how they did it was just, like it was so ugly.
You guys can't see, but Brady looks so funny every time he mimics the motion. He just like bounces in his seat and waves his gun around.
I mean, that's how it was.
I know, but you look like a rapper holding a gun in a music video, like bah, 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 bah.
It's like that's
like
literally
6'9"
how it
or
was.
some shit.
It was so the gun handling was so bad. It was
Yeah.
literally like a child playing with a gun. It was that was like I mean, I'm very much nitpicking with this movie,
Oh yeah.
but those things just kind of stood out to me, especially because with how much action scenes that me and Braden love to do.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Action scenes
we're
are the
big on
best.
action scenes, so we're
Speaking
big
of action
on,
scenes, another Netflix movie, Six Underground with Ryan Reynolds, that comes out next week, so we could do an episode on that next week.
Okay.
When next week does it come out?
13th. So I think.
13th.
Actually, wait,
Friday.
it might.
That's Friday.
Okay,
We can do
then that would
we can do
probably
that
be the
next
episode
week.
episode after next week.
But yeah.
Actually, that might be. Would that be our last episode of season one? Season one.
Isn't Rise
getting
of
close
Skywalker?
to end. Yeah, that's still a possibility
That's
though.
still
That's
up in
only
the
if
air.
we can link up outside of school and
Yeah.
get an episode done.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
we get our last day of school is the day that Rise of Skywalker comes out. So there, we might get an episode of that. If not,
For winter
then
break,
that
that
will
is.
probably be our
yeah.
season 2 premiere
Yeah,
episode.
we're coming up on the end of season
Oh,
1.
Yeah.
It's been a journey. You
If
know?
there's any suggestions you guys have for things we could change or do differently or improve on in season 2, be sure to
We're,
leave them in a comment.
Yeah, we're debating recording, like doing a
Doing a
video
video
podcast.
episode?
Yeah, that would
For
be fun
season
to
2.
do.
Mhm.
So I mean, it'll be the same thing, but it would have video along with it, so you
The
can see
YouTube
what we
version.
do. Yeah, the YouTube version. So if you guys want to see that, definitely let us know.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I think we're probably gonna mess around with that for season 2.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do at least one episode.
Yeah,
if
probably
the
not
entire
Probably
season.
probably our first episode of season 2.
Yeah.
And if people like it, then we can keep doing it.
Yeah, for the rest of the season.
Do we
Yeah.
want to go around and give our ratings
Yeah,
for
we
the
do
Yeah.
ratings now.
Definitely.
And then also there's one more thing I want to bring up really quick.
Okay.
All right.
So who
Do
wants to
you
start?
want to do
rating?
ratings
Well,
first?
hold on.
or-
Luke said he had wants.
Oh,
Do
Well,
we
no,
do it
no,
after?
I can do that after.
Okay.
Oh,
Because
Okay.
it's totally unrelated.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll start with the ratings. So, obviously, I mean, I was nitpicking throughout this entire movie, and obviously the runtime was pretty bad. But overall, it's a pretty good movie. I wouldn't give it a high score. I'd say 7 out of 10, give or take. 7.5 out of 10.
From the pieces that I saw, it was like a little too slow moving and not
Yeah, that
enough
was
like
The runtime.
edge of
Ugh.
your seat
Yeah.
type like
That was my main thing with it.
eye capture like to make you interested in the movie. So I'd give it probably about like 6 out of 10 just because of the runtime and some of it was kind
Yeah.
of slow.
It's the kind of thing that like that you can turn off pretty much at any time. Like if someone needs to
Yeah.
talk to you or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that like my friend's showing me like a meme or something where I'm like, hold on, this is an exciting part of the movie.
Yeah.
When I'm
You didn't
watching,
get
when
that
I was
with-
watching
with
this, I was
Irishman.
just kind of I'd pause it and look or whatever, just straight up turn it off and finish later or whatever.
Yeah,
It's not the kind of thing where you're like, stop, I need to watch this.
yeah.
It was very chill.
It didn't,
a lot slower.
like, the first part kept you pretty entertained, but again, as you
Yeah.
progressed through the movie, especially if you're watching in one sitting, you were just
I
like, oh.
The first
Like, it was
first
grueling.
like 20 minutes were pretty bad for me because the first 20 minutes were really slow when he was just being like the truck driver.
That's fair.
The first 20 minutes for me were like
It was
that
like-
was pretty much the worst part for me.
It was
'cause
like,
I was like
right
oh my
after that
goodness.
introduction, like right after the whole like introduction bit, just kind of telling you about these two
Mhm.
characters. Like right after that, but not quite towards like this middle of the movie. Like
Yeah.
probably like a quarter of the way in.
Mhm.
That's when it was probably at its best, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely the middle. I don't know. I thought the middle of this movie and the end, like the beginning, middle,
Yeah.
and the very end were
Yeah,
the best
definitely.
parts. I mean, again, we did kind of do a lot of nitpicking, so you all probably think that we really hated this movie. I don't know. I didn't think.
It was a good movie.
I didn't. It was definitely.
It was
I
a
did
good
not
movie,
think.
but there was a lot of little things.
I didn't have quite as many problems as you guys. I noticed the blood being a little scuffed here and there. The runtime is really what kind of did it in for me. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 8.2 out of 10.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna go back to mine real quick. Sorry, Luke. I think that if I watch the rest of the movie, the score might go up. But just
Probably.
from what I've seen,
Yeah.
it's a 6 out of 10. I just want to throw that out there. Sorry. All right, Luke, you can go with your recommendation. Sorry.
For me, I thought that it was a really good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd give it a 9.37 out of 10.
So we've
9
got
for
a
37.
pretty good spectrum
Yeah.
of ratings here.
Kind of like genders.
What? Michael's like popped up like what?
Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast.
Yep.
Homie
I-
took some
I agree with you.
anti-truth serum today.
Okay.
Okay.
That's enough
Okay.
of that.
Michael's ears are probably like blown out right now and bleeding. But
Sorry, Asian audio.
I
man.
agree
Michael's
with
just
you,
crying.
Braden, that we have a pretty good spectrum of like range of
That was yucky.
reviews.
that was
Luke
terrible.
just
ratings.
pet Michael.
Why would you? Luke? Why are you the way that you are?
I don't know.
Downvote.
Okay, really quick before this episode ends. A day ago, Zack Snyder on the app Vero, Vero, he posted a picture, and it's just text with a picture behind it, and it says, "Is it real? Does it exist? Of course it does." And it shows, I think it's like a film reel or whatever, of
The Snyder Cut.
Justice League, the director's cut.
Okay, I'm sorry, you guys can't see it, but
have to release
Luke, he wasn't clicked on the picture, and so he was trying to zoom, and just nothing was happening. So he was like, he
Wasn't
did it
that-
in like a bunch of different angles, and nothing was changing, and he was just like, it was so sad to watch.
Shut
Sorry,
up.
sorry. Go
Shut
back, go back.
But the funny thing is, first off, if Warner Bros. Doesn't release it, I'm going to end
Dude, oh my
everything.
God. If they don't release it,
It doesn't
they'll be
exist.
legit,
Yes, it does.
They will be legit stupid not to release it.
Yeah.
It was
For
trending
HBO
on
Now.
Twitter with the most tweets in a trend I have ever seen. It was like 600,000 at a point.
Yeah.
Hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
And-
it was unreal. It trended #1 for like 2.5 days.
But the running time, looking at the running time, it's longer than The Irishman.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
It's
God.
214 minutes, it says.
But does it
Jesus.
keep you entertained though? That's the thing.
I mean,
It's
it
like-
probably keeps you entertained, yeah.
I mean, it's Justice
Zack
League.
Snyder.
Even as bad
Justice
as
League.
the theatrical release was,
It was
more. It was
entertaining.
more high
It'll
octane than
keep
The
you
Irishman.
entertained,
Yeah.
definitely.
But yeah, I just thought that was really cool, and everyone's talking about HBO Now releasing it, and if they do, that would be really cool.
this is for the Justice League
Yeah.
director's cut.
The Justice League Snyder Cut, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I
mean,
hope.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be really
I hope
cool.
they do
Yep.
that.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
So
you
yeah,
wanna end the
thanks
episode?
for watching the Real Talk podcast, and we'll
And we're coming up on the end of season 1.
coming up on the end of season 1.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's been a good time.
Thanks to Mr. Frank and CTC and FCPS for sponsoring all these episodes, and I love you all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.